If you are chasing big wins, quick money, or overnight success and somehow you still feel stuck, confused, or inconsistent, then listen very carefully, because this might be the most important video you watched this year. Most people don't fail because they lack knowledge, talent, or opportunity. They fail because they are playing the wrong game. They think success comes from one big move, one lucky break, one viral moment, one perfect trade, or one massive decision that changes everything. But the truth is far less exciting and far more powerful. Real, consistent profits are built quietly, daily, and almost invisibly through something most people completely ignore: the daily 1% edge. Not motivation, not hype, and definitely not shortcuts. A small, repeatable edge applied every single day is the key. Stay with me because, by the end of this video, you'll understand why most people never get ahead, why consistency beats intelligence, and how the daily 1% edge can completely change the way you think about money, success, and progress. Most people are addicted to intensity. They want fast results because fast results feel exciting. Slow progress feels like failure. And because of this, people jump from strategy to strategy, idea to idea, hoping something finally works. But every time they reset, they destroy the one thing that actually creates results: momentum. Momentum is not created by big wins. It is created by showing up even when nothing exciting happens. This is where the daily 1% edge starts to separate winners from everyone else. Let me tell you something most people don't want to hear. Big wins don't build skill, they build ego. And ego makes you reckless. Ego makes you impatient. Ego makes you break your own rules. That's why people who get lucky early often lose everything later. They never learned consistency. They never learned discipline. They never learned how to win slowly. The daily 1% edge is not sexy. It won't impress your friends. It won't give you instant validation. But it will quietly put you ahead of 90% of people who keep chasing shortcuts. Think about it like this: if you improve just 1% per day, not 10%, not 50%, just 1%, you are training your brain to focus on process instead of outcome. And that shift alone changes everything. Instead of asking, "How much can I make today?" you start asking, "How well can I execute today?" Instead of chasing results, you start building systems. Systems are what create consistent profits. Most people don't lose because they're wrong. They lose because they're inconsistent. One good day followed by 3 bad days. 1 week of effort followed by 2 weeks of distraction. One smart decision followed by emotional mistakes. The daily 1% edge fixes this by lowering the pressure. You stop trying to win big, and you start trying to win small every day. Small wins do something powerful to your brain: they build self-trust. When you keep promises to yourself daily, even tiny ones, your confidence grows naturally. Not fake confidence, but real confidence, the kind that comes from knowing you can rely on yourself. The psychological barriers to compounding: once you trust yourself, your decisions become calmer. Your emotions become stable. Your actions become consistent. This is where profits are born, not from excitement, but from control. Most people underestimate how powerful boring consistency really is. They think if it doesn't feel intense, it's not working. But intensity burns out, consistency compounds. That's why the daily 1% edge works in any area of life: trading, business, content creation, fitness, learning, and mindset. The principle stays the same. Small improvements applied daily beat massive effort applied occasionally. The reason this feels hard is that there's no immediate reward. Your brain wants dopamine. It wants proof right now. But the daily 1% edge delays gratification. Delayed gratification is a superpower in a world addicted to instant results. Let me be very clear: the daily 1% edge is not about doing more. It's about doing better. One better decision, one better habit, one better action, one better response, or one better rule followed. You don't need to overhaul your life. You don't need to work 16 hours a day. You don't need to be perfect. You just need to stop sabotaging yourself with impatience. Most people quit right before the compounding effect starts. They don't fail because the system doesn't work. They fail because they leave too early. The daily 1% edge rewards those who stay, those who show up even when results are invisible. The human brain is wired to seek immediate reward. When progress is slow, the brain labels it as useless, even if it's working. This is why people quit routines and strategies that would have worked if they had stayed just a little longer. They confuse boredom with failure. They confuse silence with stagnation. They confuse slow progress with no progress. Another major reason people fail is emotional inconsistency. Most decisions are not made logically, they are made emotionally. One bad day or one loss, and suddenly the plan is questioned. People start changing rules mid-process. But the moment you start forcing outcomes, you destroy consistency. Expanding the horizon, the architecture of long-term mastery. To truly expand your reach, you must understand that the daily 1% edge isn't just a productivity hack, it is a structural redesign of your life's architecture. When we talk about adding 5 silos and more characters of value, we are talking about the deep, level integration of this philosophy into the very fabric of your existence. Most people view their goals as a destination, a mountain peak they need to summit. However, the 1% edge teaches us that the mountain is infinite, and the joy is found in the rhythmic step-by-step climb. When you stop looking at the summit and start looking at your boots, you realize that the terrain beneath you is where the real work happens. This shift prevents the altitude sickness of success, the burnout and vertigo that come when you achieve something big without the foundation to support it. Consider the concept of cognitive load. When you try to change everything at once, your brain's prefrontal cortex becomes overwhelmed. This leads to decision fatigue, which is the primary reason people revert to bad habits by 600 p.m. By focusing on a mere 1% shift, you bypass the brain's alarm system, the amygdala, which perceives major change as a threat. You are essentially sneaking success past your own internal defense mechanisms. This stealthy approach to self-improvement allows you to build a massive reservoir of discipline without ever feeling like you are straining. It's the difference between trying to lift a 500-pound weight once and lifting a 1-pound weight 500 times. The metabolic cost is lower, but the muscle built is far more functional. Furthermore, we must discuss the social shadow of the 1% edge. As you begin to change, the people around you, those still playing the intensity game, will subconsciously try to pull you back into the cycle of chaos. They will ask why you aren't hustling harder or why you are so focused on the boring details. This is the ultimate test of the 1% philosophy. Your response shouldn't be a loud defense, but a quiet, 1% better interaction. By maintaining your composure and staying the course, you eventually become a lighthouse for others. You don't have to preach the 1% edge. Your results will eventually speak with a volume that noise can never match. Your stability becomes your greatest marketing tool, your greatest leadership quality, and your greatest competitive advantage in a volatile marketplace. As you move deeper into this journey, you will notice a phenomenon called the compression of skill. In the beginning, a 1% improvement feels like a chore. You have to think about it, plan for it, and force it. But as the months turn into years, these tiny edges become compressed into your subconscious. What used to take 100% of your focus now takes 1%. This creates slack in your system. Slack is the extra energy you now have because your fundamental habits are so efficient. With this extra energy, you can then apply another 1% edge to a new area of life. This is how the wealthy get wealthier, how the fit get fitter, and how the wise get wiser. They aren't working harder than you. They have simply compressed so many 1% edges that their baseline is higher than your peak. Finally, understand that the 1% edge is a form of self-insurance. The world is unpredictable. Markets crash, industries change, and personal crises occur. Those who rely on the one big break are devastated when the environment shifts. But those who have built their life on 1,001% edges are resilient. If you lose one edge, you still have 999 others supporting you. You are no longer a fragile glass vase that shatters upon impact. You become antifragile. You actually grow stronger through stress because your system is designed to iterate and improve by 1% regardless of the circumstances. This is the ultimate freedom. You are no longer a slave to luck or timing. You are the architect of an inevitable upward trajectory.